Nachtanganunga, Marak, Mukmuk, Marakan, Warambu, Maraj, 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 Nachtanganunga, Wan and Induan. Ngaiga Jordan Wabanji Yuan. Margo Mungurda. Ngaiga Jamadurga. Safe journeys, everyone. My name is Jordan from Wabanjaman from Margo. We're going to sing a song for you, which is a song that pays respects to our beautiful Mother Earth, our strong women, our grandmothers, our mothers, our sisters, our aunties, but also our old people, our old people's blood that flows through the land but also flows through us. It's our song called Minga Yung, Your Mother. Wananga Minga Yung, Wada Minga Yung, Minga da Ninya. Wananga Minga Yung, Wada Minga Yung, Minga da Ninya. Molada Gamra Marumba Yerabo Ngawoda Wananga Mingayong Wada Mingayong Minga da Ninya Molada Gamra Marumba Yerabo Ngawoda. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Arnie to come up and do a welcome to country for us.
Hello, my name is Sherilyn Robinson. I am known throughout the community as Annie Shaz. I'm a local Dharawal elder, born and raised here on Dharawal country. On my mum's side though, I'm from a little town called Corindai, up near Tamworth Way. So I'm Gamilaroi. And on my dad's side of the family, I'm from a little place way down the coast called Walliga Lake, which sits within the Yuin Nation, and Dharawal country sits within the Yuin Nation. I am a proud Yuin woman. I'd like to start off by thanking Wollonga for inviting me here today. I feel very honoured and privileged to be here to do the Welcome to Country at this special event. I'd also like to thank the Wollongong University also for having me, and of course Lane and the boys for ceremony. Students, wow, you've put in the hard yards and here we are, graduation. I want you to know that Auntie is proud of each and every one of you. Although I haven't met you all, I have to say how proud I am. And the reason I'm proud is because we will all pass on. We will move on to our next journey, but it will be you, the next future generation, that will carry this country forward. It doesn't matter what journey or road you take, you will have a role to play in carrying this country forward. And for that, I thank you. I thank your parents for having you. I thank your parents for bringing you up so that you may carry this country forward. We gather here today on Dharawal country at the University of Wollongong, a place that sits below Gira, the mountain. Mount Gira is a major significant site for our people. So we gather here today on a very special place. Yulunga, Yulunga, Yulunga. I welcome you to the Yuin Nation, Dharawal country, land of the Wadi Wadi and Dharawal peoples. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional peoples of this land, the Wadi Wadi and Dharawal peoples, who have been custodians of this land since the dream time, the Alturinga, the past, the present, and now the future. Welcome to the land of my spiritual ancestors, traditional custodians of country. Let us acknowledge and pay respect to them, for they were the ones that created and looked after country, handing down their knowledge and their wisdom so that we could all go forward in our journey. Let us all pay respect to the elders of this country, my elders, the ones that have passed on, those that are here with us today, and those of the future. For it is the elders that educate and help us and guide us about Mother Earth, handing down their knowledge and wisdom. Let us all acknowledge and pay respect to Alauri and all other people that have made this country their home. As we gather here today, let's remember our history, the struggles, the pain and suffering, the stolen generation, the children taken, many still trying to find their family and their way back home. Dharawal land that extends from Greater Sydney in the north to Picton in the west, south to the Shoalhaven River, taking in Moss Vale, Kangaroo Valley, and of course here, the Illawarra. Our land is rich with minerals and water resources, both fresh and salt. It also has a vast array of edible flora and fauna. The coal from our land is mined and is used to produce power. Our waterways have been dammed to supply the necessary water for us all. Some of our mountains have been turned into hard rock quarries. Those quarries are within Dharawal country. I talk about this because it's very important. When I move through the schools and talk to the children, it's important for Auntie to tell them they don't have to worry. In a world of turmoil, there is a lot of worry. But for Aboriginal people, for us as a people, we have survived on this country for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so the children that are coming up need to know they don't need to worry. Mother Earth will supply all they need to get through their journey. Coastal groups were keen fishermen and women. Men fish with spears, while women, well, we used nets, and it was not uncommon to travel up and down the coastline in search for shellfish, fish, waterfowl, and coastal berries. Evidence of our movement and occupation along this coast can be seen at our midden sites throughout the district. In amongst this country and all over Dharawal land, there is a lot of evidence that proves our people have lived and enjoyed the fruits of our land for thousands and thousands of years. Modern research and science acknowledge that we are the oldest living culture on this planet. How wonderful, something to be so proud of, that we as a people have a country where we have the oldest living culture in the world. I know Arnie's proud to be part of that culture, but I'm part of all of your history, and that's something we need to acknowledge and be proud of. We scarred the earth with our engravings and our ceremonial areas, the corroboree grounds. We decorated the caves with our knowledge of Mother Earth and the ancestral beings that created it. Our signatures are in the land. They're not just in our DNA. We know the sacred men and women's areas. We know that when the sallywattle blossoms, the lobster in abundance, and Auntie loves that time because I love lobster. Or when the bottle brush blossoms, the mullet are running. How do we know it and why do we know it? Because it's our nature. Mother Earth is our nature. We welcome you all to our country with respect and ask you to respect our country and our values, as we have done since the Alturinga. We are the custodians of country. As we walk and work together, sharing this beautiful country of ours, we must always remember that this land is and always was Koori land, and it will always look after all of us. My hope for this country is that in time, equality, social and economic justice will be a reality for all people. Live each season as it passes, breathe the air, drink the drink, taste the fruit, and know that Mother Earth provides for all of us. I would just like to say to the students once again, congratulations and thank you.
G'day everyone and welcome. My name is Professor Sean Brawley. I am the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice President, Strategy and Assurance here at the University of Wollongong. I'm thrilled to be your Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon's ceremony. I would like to acknowledge our Indigenous Strategy Unit and our local Aboriginal community. Their leadership has brought to life a vision for an inclusive, reconciled and united Australia through this graduation ceremony, where we recognise the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the knowledge holders of country. Thank you for joining us here today on this special occasion. Before we begin, I just ask that you check your mobile phones and make sure they are turned to silent. The university is extremely proud of our graduates, and we are immensely excited to celebrate your achievements in person today. We also congratulate family and friends who have supported our students on their journey. We know our graduates have been through a lot. They have endured the many aspects of the COVID pandemic and have triumphed. And so we are here today to congratulate the graduates on their many achievements and to acknowledge their dedication and commitment to their goals and their aspirations to make our community and world a better place. Please join me in congratulating them. Can I ask you now to please stand for an instrumental version of the Australian National Anthem? Thank you. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce the Chancellor, who is our university's highest official, Miss Christine McLaughlin, who will deliver the congratulatory address.
Graduates, family and friends, welcome to this graduation ceremony. My name is Christine McLaughlin and I am the Chancellor of the University of Wollongong, and I am honoured to be here with you today. It's truly one of the highlights of my role to witness students celebrate this great milestone. I'd like to thank the Indigenous Strategy Unit and members of our Aboriginal community for the leading of the procession and smoking ceremony today. I pay my respects to Aboriginal elders past and present and acknowledge their continued spiritual and cultural connection to the lands on which the University of Wollongong campuses are located. As part of today's celebration, we are focused on the themes of the artwork Cultural Healing by artists Auntie Lorraine Brown and Auntie Narelle Thomas from the Kumadichi United Aboriginal Corporation. You'll see this artwork all around you on your graduation booklets as part of the stage design and in various other contexts. We hope to continue learning from and building a deeper understanding from this cultural wisdom. Looking out to see a marvellous sea of gowns, I'd like to begin by congratulating each and every one of our graduating students. You are the reason we do what we do. Indeed, it's a special occasion for all of us, friends, families, teachers and mentors. But it's especially significant for you, our graduates. Many of our graduates are the first in their family to graduate from university, and this is a tremendous achievement. Today's events are the culmination of years of hard work, personal sacrifice and commitment. I hope you feel a deep sense of pride and will take this moment to reflect on your achievements and how far you have come. Of course, this time of celebration is important, and I hope you will soak up every minute of it. But I also want to emphasise that this is not a conclusion, indeed this is a beginning. As an individual, you need to capture these feelings of pride, energy and passion and take them with you into your future. Graduation is also an opportunity to thank all those who made your achievements possible, your family, friends and teachers. This is a special moment for them too, and I'm sure they're extremely proud of how far you have come. Today we acknowledge the important role they played and invite them to share in your success, and the numbers here today say it all. I was the first member of my own family to receive a university degree, and the pride and joy that gave to my family and dear friends is a memory I have kept with me, and it's quite some time ago now, but it's still there. So treasure today. As a cohort, you share in a unique education experience in what has proven to be an extremely challenging time in our history. So much has changed in recent years, and like many industries, universities had to undertake rapid innovation, particularly in teaching and learning. The strength and determination that you have shown to get here will stay with you and hold you in good stead for many years to come. I hope that your experiences at UOW have shaped not only the person you are today and the career you're about to embark upon, but also the curiosity, empathy, and compassion that you will take with you. The world is changing quickly, and as we face complex social, environmental, and economic challenges, I'm confident as graduates of the University of Wollongong, you are well placed to lead the way forward. The completion of your studies at UOW places you among the most employable graduates in Australia and indeed the world. Many parents are sighing with relief now. The success of our graduates is one of the many reasons our university enjoys such a strong reputation and is ranked among the top 2% of universities globally, while aiming higher every day. With programs at campuses in Dubai, Hong Kong and Malaysia, and partner institutions in China and Singapore, I hope you feel proud to be part of a university with an outstanding reputation that spans the globe. Beyond my work as Chancellor of UOW, I'm Chairman of Suncorp and a Director of Cochlear Limited, and also the co-founder of Minerva Network, a not-for-profit that mentors professional sportswomen. With my business background, I see transitions like the one you're making today, from student to graduate, as a significant opportunity to re-establish your priorities, take stock, and focus on your future. At the same time, leveraging all that you have learned both academically and about life during your time at UOW. Alongside the many changes that will happen in your lives following graduation, today also marks a new type of connection with this university, one I hope will be lifelong through further study or as a proud ambassador. You'll be joining our vibrant global alumni community of more than 170,000 alumni from almost 200 different countries. You are connected by the shared experience of studying at the University of Wollongong. As much as is possible, I encourage you to maintain this connection with the university and with your fellow graduates. The relationships you form during your time here will be invaluable in the years to come. Please know this, graduates, you are our greatest achievement. And along with our researchers and partners, you are at the heart of UOW's mission to create lasting and positive impact. It's this community of like-minded people that has shaped our university to become a world leader for social and economic impact. Together with our partners, we're working to solve the biggest questions facing society and striving toward a better quality of life for future generations. This ceremony is public recognition of your commitment and achievement. It has been our absolute pleasure and privilege to have witnessed and played an integral role in your journey. I hope you'll soak up every minute of these celebrations, remembering that this is not a conclusion, indeed, this is a beginning. I hope you will capture these feelings of pride, energy and passion and take them forward with you. The transition today is an opportunity to re-establish your priorities. You've already begun your next chapter. I hope that your experiences at UOW have shaped not only the person you are today and the career that you're about to embark on, but everything that you will take with you. It's now time to celebrate. Celebrate your hard work and success and know that the world is at your feet. Always remember, be bold, courageous and strong, and stay true to your beliefs. Set your sights high and work towards something you believe in, because when you find your purpose, you will find your place. Again, my best wishes, and may you have a very, very memorable and happy graduation day. And thank you for making all of us so very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. It's now my great pleasure to commence the presentation of the graduates to our Chancellor. I now introduce the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences, Senior Professor Gursel Alisi, to present the graduates to the Chancellor for the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences.
Thank you, Professor Brawley. It's my great pleasure to be here celebrating with our graduates today. We are very proud of what you all have achieved, and I wish to convey my personal congratulations to all the graduates. Will the graduates who are to be presented with undergraduate and postgraduate awards from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences please stand? Chancellor, I present to you the graduates to receive awards from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I confirm your admission to the awards for which you have qualified.
Graduates, please be seated.
Raisa Raima. Ronan Alcock. Thomas Andreas. Rehan Azam. Jack Bennett. Jake Ivan Bortica. Kyle James Brooks. Calvin. Jaden Daniel Gripton. Jared Robert Harris. Nihali Rasikbai Hingrajia. Joshua Hogan. Christian Jackson. Khan Osman Karaman. Michael Kilbane. Aditi Kumar. Benjamin Lay. Henry Kai Trung Lay. Sunaina Mandipa. Nathan Meacham. Stuart Fletcher Miller. Keegan Naidu. Dipti Roka Chetri. Alan Shaw. Ryan Alexander Anderson. Wasif Assad. Eva Borisova. Dana Alyssa Briffa. Kai Budic. Keyan Chen. Zexin Chen. Jacob James Cooper. Caden Jeremy Darley. Isaac Dunstan. Emma Rose Edwards. Anne Ravina Fernanda Mutuna Maganage. Samuel Hobson. Mosamat Behrin Fatima Hok. Shahriar Zilani Islam. Shi Hui Liu. Zi Hao Luo. Kyle Murphy. Kwok Duong Nguyen. Kwok Tuan Nguyen. Jie Ming Ren. Halam Reese Roberts. Kayleen Therese Stowe Domingo. Timothy Zehao Wang. Dylan Joshua Weber Friel. William Whitehouse. Nathan Wild. Louis Younger. Matthew Zenkowski. Helen Sukhavong. Kumutu Satnindu Edirasinga Awachchiga. Liam Christopher Ellis. Keanu Hamza. David Baranquero. Peter David Walsh. Jack Dyson. Yusuf Jamil. Peter Kazavitis. Sukru Furkan Kemak. Anaka Madhu Picharodi. Dean Paskowski. Adhara Majuri Paul. Reshma Robinson. David Williams. Alexander Jack Jukic. Kai Jones. Braden Liam Philpott. Leonard Su Hua Kwa. Joshua Reichman. Nathan Callanan. Smriti Girish Babu. San Yin O. Carla Jane Vincent. Zachary Bond. Curtis Byram. Rhythm Adhikari. Chai Anthony Forrest. Dipesh Adhikari. Jake Allen. Rushikesh Rohides Boir. Jared James Bradley. Kayla Burgess. Adam Zura. Thomas Foley. Declan Thomas Herity. Benjamin Hopkins. Sarah Josephs. Samuel Kanyingi Kahora. James William Lang. Aidan Lewis. Timothy Jason Martin. James George Pejich. Hussein Refai. Matthew Saeed. William James Seagert. Chantal Bourdain Simmons. Gautam Sivanesan. Daniel Tenevsky. Matthew Temple. Huang Quan Tran. Eric Ulfson. Bang Dong Chao. Al Muharab Mohammed Suaid Al Dugaishi. Mitchell Robert Olker. Fatima Zaki A. Al-Khabaz. Lina Nabil S. Al-Saif. Lucille Anderson. Liam George Baxter. Scott Berwick. Andrew Bova. Alvin Chung. Riley Joshua Corby. Adam Nicholas Curtis. Nicholas Stewart Davies. Liam Francis Dobby. Charlie Eaton. Sam Eberl. Lachlan Elson. Jessica Foster. Carrie Glass. Jasmine Grace Gonsalves. Jacob Graham. Riley Graham. Fergus William Hands. Raynor Hicks. Duin Chang Hung. Stanley Indrea. Benjamin Jackson. Dylan Ruben Harry Jarvis. Mitchell Francis Kelly. Michael James Kemp. Thomas Daniel Coford. Ben James Lewis. Peter Lindsay. Lachlan Shane Leslie Marks. Reese Marsh. Bailey McKay. James McMaster. Eden George Mead. Luke Norman Meach. Jestan Sri Vatsav Nala. Lachlan Naunton. Sarah Nesbitt. Hung Tin Nguyen. Min Dang Nguyen. Lachlan O'Donnell. Lachlan Page. Matthew Pay. Tyrell Colin Payton. Erin Alexandra Pierce. Christian Paul Presslaber. Sarah Jessie Roberts. Kai Romanin. Declan Ryan. Ashfaq Ahmed Sadman. James Sarah. Sophia Skidmore. Jared William Smith. Nicholas Starkovsky. Adrian Dominic Vaquera. Chloe Rhonda Ware. Lachlan Campbell Webster. Jack Douglas Wheatley. Lewis Whitehouse. Guy Witters. Hayden Brent Wilkinson. Patrick Wilson. Reese Yao. Oscar Ziedeluns. Jack Burness. Brendan Coates. Rebecca Eager. Made Laxmirai Kesawa. Nima Keradush. Kobe J. Klenke. Aaron Joe Pius. Kieran Glenn Russell. Rowan Smith. James Squire. Lord Tarbet. Joel Thompson. Jeremy Stojovsky. Tianzi Wei. Cara Madison Crinian. Daniel John Bennett. James Cayley. Jesse Benjamin John Williams. Daniel Kudila. Michaela Kostovsky. Bailey Angelowski. Jack Whiteley. Jessica Dal Santo. Matthew Claridge. Connor Peters.
Chancellor, I take great pleasure in presenting the recipients of the University Medal in the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences for 2022. The University Medal is for outstanding performance and is awarded to the highest achieving student as determined by their academic performance across the entire undergraduate degree. For the University Medal in the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences and for their bachelor degrees. For the Bachelor of Mathematics Honors in 2022, Jamison Matthew Bell. For the Bachelor of Engineering Honors Scholars in 2022, Lei Win Jiang No. And for the Bachelor of Engineering Honors, Bachelor of Mathematics in 2022, Luc Christophe Mariani.
We will be continuing with the presentation of awards shortly. Would now like to introduce our musical item for today. It's my great pleasure to introduce Sandon Groves. Sandon is currently studying psychology here at UOW. He is a local musician who has been performing at wedding venues and events for the last 5 years. Please join me in welcoming Sandon, who is going to perform Dancing in the Moonlight.
We get it almost every night. When that moon is big and bright, it's a supernatural delight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Everybody here is out of sight, and they don't bark and they don't bite. They keep things loose, they keep them tight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight, dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. We like our fun and we never fight. We can dance and stay outside. It's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Thank you.
We will now present the awards for our postgraduate students from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences.
Ebeline Mary Barnes. Tawfiq Hidayat. Anshula Chivaneni Narasimha. Bat Ogil Enkpat. Mohammed Ali Etamadizad. Tan Hua Hun. Vignesh Murugesan. Savresh Rajan Pandit. Arun Ramakrishnan. Ojas Rajendra Shukla. Rui Chao. Ajit. Rahul Badwal. Anant Narayan Bhatt. Timothy Andrew Carroll. Ji Ding. Anshuman Gupta. Mahesh Kumar Jayakumar. Yuk Ting Lo. Barami Rujipatanapong. Melissa Louise Beer. Quinn Patterson. Datatreya Reddy Aladali. Alan Parambi Chajo. Anna Babi. Arun Raphael. Bernie Chachko. Alwyn George. Rajbir Kaur. Yub Raj Lamichane. Ali Isfand Yar Manek. Philip Manjalur Jacob. Fahad Naveed. Amal Jose Panikulam. Armstrong Pokarir. Donya Pufakuri. Hamad Amir Saeed. Nitin Satyashilan. Anahita Setayesh. Akash Ghanshyam Shah. Ushwal Timulsina. Fan Wu. Asan Aftab. Anjali Ajit Prasad. Atira Ajit Prasad. Nishta Joshi. Amal Nizar. Tricia Pavitran. Atul Raghav Raj. Vishnuvatan Rajendran. Shashank Kamlakal Sawant. Deepak Suresh Varma. Tamara Lee Peters. Naveen Chimarla. Shivaram Prasad Ravulwa. Samuel Danasingh. Pramila Ramtel. Glinta Chachko. Jeevan George. Vishal Kumar Kalvakol Mutiala. Yuqing Li. Ayushi Nassar. Tejashri Ramgonda Patil. Zhou Wu. Rashwini Bananje. Christy Chekontail Matthew. Dinakor Chitsin Charan. Joseph DeCosta. Kumutu Manakal Saravida Mutukumara. Craig Edwin Pickup. Jiang Ke.
We have a number of late arrivals. Chancellor, I present to you from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences. For the Bachelor of Engineering Honors, Luke Whiting. For the Master of Health Informatics, Sriman Rao. For the Master of Engineering, Shubham Kuber Chawan. And for the Bachelor of Computer Science, Xiao Ron. It is now with great pleasure that I announce our doctoral award recipients today. Will the graduates who are to be presented with doctoral awards from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences please stand? Chancellor, I present to you the doctoral graduates from the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences who, by reason of their thesis and other work at the university, have met the requirements for admission to doctoral degrees.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I confirm your admission to the doctoral degrees for which you have qualified.
Graduates, you may now be seated. Chancellor, I present to you for their doctoral degrees, for their study of sediment transport processes in natural streams and near surface zone under rapidly varied rough flows, Dr. Muhammad Zain bin Riyaz. For their study into connection reinforcement details capable of improving the ductility and energy dissipation of FRP-RC beam column connections, Dr. Muhammad Safdar. for their examination of bioethanol production and separation from lignocellulosic and microalgae feedstock, Dr. Naveed Ahmed. For their study into anaerobic granules cultivated from waste-activated sludge for enhanced self-healing concrete in wastewater infrastructure, Dr. Kirti Chetty. For their creation of a new method to evaluate technologies, for their study to transfer learning across visual domains and tasks, Yu Ding. For their creation of a new method to evaluate technologies that assist a crisis response, Dr. Timothy Jackson. For their study into agent-based online scheduling for multitask resource allocation in complex environments, Ikun Yang. For their study into driver mental fatigue detection based on body posture and vehicle parameters using intelligent algorithms, Dr. Shazeb Ansari. For their study into sustainability-oriented housing innovation, Dr. Yegane Bagi. For their study of targets monitoring and data collection in radio frequency energy harvesting, IoT networks, Jia Fei. For their study into groups of robots, finding where they are in an environment, Dr. Brandon Halloran. For their study of computational methods for the fitting of factor analytic linear mix models with applications to plant variety trials, Dr. Luc Mazur. For their study into wire arc additive manufacturing of nickel-based Hest alloy C276 alloy and ameliorated processes, Dr. Jujin Chiu. For their exploration into the effect of nanoscale porosity on thermoelectric properties of transition metal oxides, Dr. El-Jumlat Ahmed. For their exploration of sub-second isomers produced with photon activation above the neutron production threshold, Dr. Sean Carlos Del Piano. For their study into liquid metal magic, novel fluid dynamic properties, and hands-free manipulation, Dr. Yahua He. And for their study into the applications of novel nanocomposites for the treatment and diagnosis of cancer and other emerging health issues, Dr. Yasser Rahman.
would now like to admit our honorary doctorate to the university. I will now present the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present Professor Judy Raper to you for admission to the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. A committed and outstanding scientist, educator, leader, and motivator of women in science and in education, Judy has had a stellar career and has an established reputation in engineering and leadership. Always encouraging and making a difference to people, Judy has paved the way for women in engineering, accomplishing many firsts along the way. With 40 years standing as a chemical engineer with expertise in air and water pollution control, particle technology, research and education, Judy has an impressive research background and is the recipient of a number of prestigious awards. She has held a number of key senior leadership positions over the past 20 years, including more than 10 years as the University of Wollongong's Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research and Innovation. Judy is currently Dean and CEO of TEDI London, a collaborative, design-led engineering organisation underpinned by 3 global partners, King's College London, UNSW Sydney and Arizona State University. Born in Hungary, Judy studied engineering at the University of New South Wales, graduating with honours in 1976. She went on to complete her PhD with UNSW in 1980. Following this, Judy undertook postdoctoral research at the University of Cambridge in the UK, working at the Atomic Energy Research Establishment at Harwell. On returning to Australia, Judy was the first female in engineering at the University of Newcastle, and it was here and at the University of New South Wales that Judy rose through the ranks of academia. In 1995, Judy joined the University of Sydney as the first and only female Dean of Engineering. In this role, she revolutionised the undergraduate engineering programs. Judy introduced the highly innovative advanced engineering program, enabling talented students to solve real engineering problems in their first semester of university. By the end of Judy's tenure, this Sydney University course was the most sought after engineering course in New South Wales and had gained a reputation internationally for innovation in engineering education. In 2004, Judy took on the position of Head of Chemical and Biological Engineering at Missouri University of Science and Technology. Following this, in 2006, Professor Raper was offered the prestigious position of Division Director, Chemical Bioengineering, Environmental Engineering and Transport Systems at the National Science Foundation in Washington, DC. It is rare for an Australian to be offered such a high-level position at the US NSF, and Judy's appointment to head up the new division, which had resulted from the merging of 2 disparate divisions at the National Science Foundation, showed clear recognition of her leadership skills as well as her research reputation. Following a number of impressive international appointments, Judy returned to Australia to join UOW in 2008 as Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research. During the decade that she was with UOW, one of her fondest memories of her time here was witnessing the solar decathlon, where students succeeded in 2 international competitions, first in China and then in Dubai. Judy's distinguished contributions include being responsible for a 228% increase in research funding and major interdisciplinary research efforts, including the Global Challenges Program and the development of the Smart Infrastructure Facility, the Sustainable Buildings Research Centre and the Australian Institute of Innovative Material. Leading the development of the ARC Centre of Excellence in Biodiversity and Heritage, Judy was also successful in research infrastructure project funding applications over $200 million that went towards such developments as the Regional Innovation Ecosystem in the iAccelerate Centre. Combined with her engineering, technical and problem-solving skills, Judy's international experience has led her to often be described as a breath of fresh air when joining a new board because of her direct, collaborative and strategic approach. Throughout her career, Judy's leadership capabilities, collaboration skills and lateral thinking have been much sought after, and she has been invited to chair and contribute to many advisory and review committees here in Australia and abroad, including independent statutory authorities, research and development corporations, startups and private companies. Judy has served on numerous boards, including the boards of the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation, Uni Mutual Limited, Accelerate Australia and the Illawarra Health and Medical Research Institute, and currently serves as a non-executive director of Waterco Proprietary Limited, an ASX listed company. Her distinguished contribution in engineering, leadership and mentoring and to the community throughout her career are widely recognised, having received many prestigious awards. Judy was elected a Fellow of the Australian Academy of Technology and Honorary Fellow of Engineers Australia in 2003. In 2012, Judy was named one of Australia's 100 most influential women and was also named by Engineers Australia as one of Australia's top 10 leading female engineers for 3 consecutive years. In 2017, she won a Chemica Medal for distinguished service to the practice of chemical engineering, and in 2018 was awarded the Ada Lovelace Award for the most prominent female engineer in Australia. Judy has an established reputation in leadership and is committed to supporting and nurturing women in engineering. Throughout her career, she has mentored many young women aspiring to be engineers and is seen as a strong advocate for female academics and the STEM disciplines more generally. Judy has mentored many engineers in training and academics, particularly women, maintaining strong relationships with these mentees. In recognition of her commitment to the promotion of women in science, Judy's alma mater, UNSW, named a Female Leadership Engineering Award in her honour. This award is for effective leadership characterised by passion and commitment, setting bold objectives and achieving results, and motivating and mobilising the talent of others for the benefit of the discipline, the profession and the community at large. Judy embodies this award's high standards and actively encourages and supports others to strive for excellence, to be innovative and make valuable contributions to enhance the scientific community, the field of education and the wider community. In 2019, Judy was appointed a member in the General Division of the Order of Australia for her significant service to higher education and engineering. Chancellor, today we honour Judy Raper for her outstanding contributions to engineering science and education, her commitment to effective and collaborative innovation at UOW, nationally and internationally, her passion and commitment to effective leadership, and her commitment to the support, nurturing and promotion of women in science. It is a privilege to present Professor Judy Raper to be admitted as a Doctor of Science of the University of Wollongong.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa of the University of Wollongong.
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Judy Raper to give the occasional address today. Please join me in welcoming Professor Judy Raper.
Well, you'll be glad to know that my speech is about half the length that that was, so it won't be so bad. So thank you very much. Chancellor, members of the council, members of the university, proud parents and friends, and above all, graduates. I would like to begin by congratulating you today on receiving your hard-earned degrees. I'm familiar with the content of your courses, your engineering and science courses, and I know that you have passed and obtained your qualifications in demanding and difficult disciplines. I'm honoured to be here today to join the graduating class of engineers. And I want to say that I'm going to talk about engineers so that you scientists among the graduates, please act as an honorary engineer for today. So congratulations to all of us, irrespective of the time it has taken you to get here today. So it's said about engineering that it's the worst 4 years of your life, or the best 7. So, as I thought about the message I wanted to give you on this important day, I was reminded of Robert Frost's poem, The Road Not Taken, which begins, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller, long I stood. So when I started university back in the dark ages, I stood with 2 roads in front of me, what to embark on at university, and I embarked on the course less travelled, particularly by girls in those days, engineering. I decided to take chemical engineering because one of my older brother's friends said, don't do engineering, it's very difficult. And so I'm sure it's the case with many of you, I was spurred on by the challenge and found my calling. As you leave university and embark on your engineering careers, I would like to encourage you to take the road not taken, to stand out with passion, authenticity, and courage, whilst always staying true to your values. As you know, there are all sorts of tribes in our society. There are the political, religious, sporting, intellectual, and so on. Well, you have just become members of the engineering tribe, and our tribe requires its members to behave in certain ways. You are now bound by a common commitment to promote engineering and to facilitate its practice for the common good based upon shared values of ethical behaviour, competency and performance, engineering excellence, equality in opportunity, unity of purpose, sustainable development and social responsibility. You'll see from this list that there is a lot more to engineering than simply solving technical problems. The first on the list, ethical behaviour, binds us more strongly than members of other tribes. I will not recite the engineering code of ethics in detail, but I will mention our cardinal principles, which are to respect the inherent dignity of the individual, to act on the basis of a well-informed conscience, and to act in the interests of the community. The last of these can be exemplified by the Japanese term wa, which expresses a desirable state of mutual trust. It means cooperation, warmth, trust, and sharing for the good of the community. So you should think not what's in it for me, but rather how the community can benefit. Because if the community benefits, the people in it will also benefit. Wa incorporates the ideas of morale and the hard work of efficient, pleasant, and purposeful fellowship. Engineers, by and large, are good at these things. We get on with the job. What we are perhaps not so good at is standing up and speaking out, and that is what I urge you to do. You now have very real and important responsibilities to speak up loudly and clearly if the steel beam in the stadium structure isn't strong enough, or as was the case with the Space Shuttle Challenger, where the engineers knew that the O-ring materials were not safe at low temperatures. They did speak up, but nowhere near loudly enough. You must never ever allow those who pull the purse strings to override your professional duty to warn society when you know that a design is unsafe or that a material will fail. But I think that you have an even more difficult duty to fulfill. Don't wait to raise the alarm only when things are going wrong. You should also let people know that you, as an engineer, have been responsible for bringing about many of the good things that they take for granted. If you do stand up and promote engineering, then you will benefit not only yourself, but the entire profession. Because our tribe can truly assert that we have done good things, just as important as those done by the medical tribe, and surely far more important than the legal tribe. I hope all of you realise that joining the engineering tribe is both an honour and a commitment to a continued process of education, one which will include your peers, the tribal elders, evaluating your work experience. If you persevere, you will achieve chartered status and, after that, fellowship of the Institution of Engineers. I hope that through the long road ahead, you will retain your enthusiasm. For if you don't believe in your profession, no one else will. Ideally, you will love what you are doing, value the end product, and pass your enthusiasm on to others. Temper this with a little realism, and you can't go wrong. Throughout my long and winding career, as you've heard, I've taken opportunities as they arose. I moved to the USA when both my sons decided to study there, to the University of Missouri and to the National Science Foundation. That was an incredible experience which led me back to my 10-year role as Deputy Vice-Chancellor here at UOW. Spending so long here was a privilege and a lot of fun. The culture at this university is unique, and you are lucky to have experienced it. And you will always be part of the UOW family. Taking risks and pursuing your passions are also important aspects of engineering. Late in my career, 4 years ago, once again I took the road not taken. I gave up a secure job and travelled halfway around the world to lead a very risky project. It was an opportunity to make a difference to engineering education and to transform lives. I knew that I had to follow my passion and take a chance on a project that had the potential to make a significant impact. So as Robert Frost concludes, I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Congratulations again to all of you, and best of luck for the future.
Thank you, Judy. I'm not a member of the engineering tribe, I'm a member of the historians tribe. But I remember as an undergraduate being surrounded by engineers at your alma mater. And I always remember when they got their results, the race was to see who got 50, because if you got 52%, you'd worked too hard. That's over. The tribe doesn't do that anymore, I believe, which I think is a great thing for society, because we want people building our bridges who do better than 50, I think. I would now like to call upon Kieran Russell to give the vote of thanks. Kieran graduates today with a Bachelor of Engineering Honours. Kieran is an exceptional mining engineering graduate with an outstanding academic record. He placed first in his cohort all 4 years of his degree and was awarded a number of prizes for his achievements, including the AUSIM Environmental Engineering Prize for Best Performance in a Site Remediation Subject in 2021, the Tetra Tech Coffee Geotechnics Award for Best Overall Performance in Geomechanics in 2021, the Tetra Tech Coffee Geotechnics Best Student in Geotechnics in 2021, and he also received the Australasian Institute of Mining and Metallurgy Education Endowment Fund Award for Academic Achievement in 2019 and 2020, which is awarded to a student for academic excellence in mining engineering. Kieran has played a remarkable role as a UOW ambassador and has enthusiastically participated in several marketing events organised by UOW, the New South Wales Government, AUSIM, and the New South Wales Minerals Council. His honesty and thoughtfulness with respect to the future of the Australian mining industry will make him an asset to the industry going forward. Kieran Russell.
Chancellor, members of the university, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, friends and family. It's a great privilege for me to stand here before you and to talk on behalf of those who are graduating today. I'd firstly like to thank Professor Judy Raper for your words of wisdom. Your story gives us all guidance in starting our careers and starting the next chapter of our lives. This moment is a culmination of countless hours of lectures, tutorials, practicals, exams, revision, and working on assignments. All that hard work will now look different as we transition into the real world and undertake problem solving out in the industry. where things usually don't go according to plan. For me, it's a little bit daunting. I find myself wondering where my 4 years of uni went. Suddenly, we are leaving the familiarity of university and moving into a new stage of our lives that presents an unknown, yet exciting challenges and opportunities. We're going into industries where together we will be making a safer and more sustainable workplace, community, and world. It's an exciting prospect that we will be going into workplaces where we'll have the power to make a difference. As UOW students, we are fortunate to have been part of a culture that is welcoming and inclusive, making us strive to be the best version of ourselves. We'll be some of the most resilient graduates there have ever been after having our worlds turned upside down by the COVID-19 pandemic. We still managed to get through our studies, many doing so while experiencing financial difficulties, employment instability, social isolation, ill health, and cabin fever. Somehow we pushed through, and I'm confident that we will all excel in our careers. On behalf of my fellow graduates, I would like to thank the university for fostering our education and instilling values in us that we will take with us for the rest of our careers and lives. I would also like to thank our lecturers, tutors, and staff for sharing your knowledge and inspiring us to go beyond what we thought we would be capable of. Thank you to my fellow students and graduates. We got through this together and have formed friendships and connections that we'll take with us for the rest of our lives. We could not have done this without each other. I would also like to give a very special thanks to our parents, family, friends, and partners. None of us would be here without you all. Thank you for supporting us and making so many personal sacrifices to get us through uni. We're all forever grateful. Congratulations, everyone. This is a moment to be proud of. Now let's go and celebrate.
Thank you, Kieran, and good luck for the future. Graduates, family and friends, colleagues, we are coming to the close of our ceremony for today. We now wish to share with you our graduation video. We hope this video will encourage you to reflect on the infinite moments that have led you to where you are sitting today.
Everything we've done has led towards today. But graduation seems singular. After all, it's one day, one degree, one end and one beginning. Think about it this way though. If we divide today by 4 years,
or 5 years,
or 3 years,
or 8 years,
the equation becomes clearer. Because today isn't just an event or a graduation or a moment of change. It's what we've created through 24 subjects.
11 all-nighters.
357 books read.
54 5,000-word essays.
40 monologues critiqued.
154 films watched.
And 4 films made. Let's be real though. Our experience is way bigger than just the classroom. You've got to factor in
665 hypotheses,
6 heated dramas,
2 semesters abroad, 5 new cultures experienced,
12 concerts attended,
843 waves ridden,
169 hours lounging around,
17 dance parties,
2 major heartbreaks,
and more lifelong friendships than we can count.
When we take those experiences, the long days, late nights, and early mornings into the equation, we realise that graduation at the University of Wollongong isn't just some singular thing.
That it's a transition from finding our purpose
to changing our world with the purpose we found. That our passport to the future has been stamped
with the mark of a globally respected education.
And most importantly, we realise the moments that led up to this are
a tapestry,
a symphony,
an equation,
a 65,000-year-old history.
We realise that though today is a single moment, graduation is much bigger than any one day. Because, like an algorithm made up of bits of code,
or a building built from many bricks,
or a community built from many different people, today is the result of our
experiments,
experiences,
tests,
trials,
and victories.
So that's what we celebrate today. Not the cap, not the gown, but the infinite number of moments we shared at the University of Wollongong.
It's a fabulous snapshot, I think. Kieran, inspired by your words, and I'm sure, like everyone in the auditorium, very confident about your future. And Judy, absolutely inspired by the story you can tell and share with the graduates, and I'm sure you've all taken something away from that. So thanks to both of you. So before we close, can I please ask our graduates to remain seated while the rest of the audience stands? So being the biggest fans of the graduates who you have a connection with, please join me in congratulating the graduates by giving them a warm round of applause. Thank you. So we may now be seated. Now, can I ask our audience to remain seated while our graduates stand? I suspect this room is full of people who have supported you in some way or other. So I'd like to ask you to join me in thanking family, friends and supporters, helping you on your incredible journey and participating in today's celebration. You can now sit as well, thank you. I'd like to warmly thank the students and staff who volunteered their time to assist with this celebration. We feel incredibly proud to celebrate our graduates here today, and we'd like you all to join us under the marquee outside for light refreshments and to congratulate our graduates. And hopefully the rain has ceased. We had rain this morning. Our mace bearer will lead the academic procession, followed by the graduates and then our VIPs. Please remain patient and remain in your seats as the ushers will be giving you instructions to exit the venue, because as you can see there are hundreds and hundreds of people here. So they'll be exiting you row by row. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. Congratulations, graduates, and I now declare this ceremony closed.